Go Jackets.
I think we've made. Well, let me ask you this, Bryce. Like, we hired a McFarland, a high school, a
Yeah.
Georgia high school coaching legend, to fill a position that hasn't been filled at Tech, I don't believe, since Chan Gailey. All
That's
right,
huge.
it's everything. All right, and almost everyone on staff has deep rooted Georgia high school recruiting connections. I'm talking about Crawford, Buster Faulkner, the two guys we just hired, Stewart, McFarland, Norval McKenzie grew up in Douglasville or went to Douglasville
Yeah.
High School, I believe. Like,
And deep entrenched with him, and he's huge. And he stands out a lot to high school
he's
coaches.
been beating the trail down. Like, if you look on his Twitter, like 20 times a day, he's blowing stuff up, and I love to
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, look, the way the staff is built, I mean, how long have we sat in a group chat, sat in a Discord, and sat here and said, man, if Georgia Tech wants to compete, they're going to have to, like, you see those long list of staffs that the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States have. And look, it's not going to happen overnight. Like, Tech's not going to hire 75 analysts tomorrow morning, but
No.
they're getting there. And that is, I mean, it shows. And I said this when Dr. Cabrera made the announcement. I was at the press conference. People were like, "Well, you're just being negative." But at what point have we been shown in the past decade, truly, and correct me if I'm wrong, truly, where Georgia Tech was serious about football? And this starts to feel like where the page is turning a little bit. It's going to take a while, but man, it really feels like they're turning the page to getting where, hey, this is taken seriously. This is, we're going to invest not only in our coaching staff but our off the field staff. And I love the hires of the high school coaches. I mean, what better way to establish pipelines and respect? And like I said on my show, and I think I might have said it on one of our, our three-man shows as well, Coach Jeff Collins really hurt high school recruiting in Georgia. He rubbed some people the wrong way. So to rebuild that, what better than to say, hey, let's bring in your high school coach. And it's a place like North Gwinnett. I mean, all the kids that train in Gwinnett and play,
Big time
it's
players.
Just, the connections are huge. It's really.
I think
it's something
David
we're gonna
Green
look back
played
on.
there, big
I
time
think
Georgia
so.
quarterback.
I think so.
Yeah, man, it just slipped my mind. There was something I was wanting to ask you about that. But that is one thing I do slightly disagree with you on, which I think we're okay with disagreement.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know if it's an issue of seriousness. Paul Johnson just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and a lot of people say that the triple option set us back. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I think what might have set us back with Paul is that he showed he could win with less, and we kind of settled for that and said, okay, we don't need all this other stuff. Look what Paul's able to do, win an ACC with not having all this other stuff. I think what we're seeing with Key now is, well, first of all, look at all the people on staff that understand what it takes to win. Key has a national title ring with Alabama. Jay Batt was at Alabama forever. Aaron Joe was at Alabama. The linebackers coach we just hired, was it
Kevin Scherer?
has a national title ring with Alabama. He was the director of player development in 2011 to like 2013 or so. These are all people that have seen what the heights of college football are, and not to mention Buster Faulkner. They know what successful programs look like, and that's what I'm excited about with this staff. How many I think there's 7 or 8 people that have national title rings on this staff. One of them has a Heisman Trophy as well, in Winky. I mean, there's a lot of people that know what the F is going on.
Yeah, and I like that. And I will, once again, disagreement is fantastic because that's what makes sports talk fun. No, and I give you that. I mean, you probably worded it where I wanted to go with it in the sense of maybe not a lack of seriousness.
They didn't
Too
understand.
harsh. Didn't understand. Because I agree with you. I think that there was a sense of he did a lot with a little, and so now maybe we don't have to, I don't want to say give as much, but be as involved necessarily when you get away from that style. So yeah, I agree with you there, and I really like the offseason that Key has had. I think that I don't know. I'll ask you this. I mean, obviously 2019 spring practice, that was Collins' first spring practice, I guess.
Yes,
because Paul had retired.
sold it out, I think, for the spring.
And this is very far off, but I don't know if there's a more anticipated spring practice / spring game for Georgia Tech fans, maybe since that. Really, I don't know.
Yeah, well, because Key has the buy-in, obviously, of the donors and of the fans right now. There's not many fans that are like, Key, I just don't know about Key. I mean, I'm hedging my bets because I'll tell you this: like the start of Colin's third season, I was like, "This is it, man!" And I went to the school store and they had a jersey that was $120, and I said, "It don't matter what it costs, I'm buying it. This is our year." And I look like a big dummy. But look, Key's already had success on the field, and Key. I mean, you just kind of academically look at what he's doing, and it's like, yep, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. And that Key was able to put like personal stuff aside or relationships, made some changes that surprised people. On the defensive side of the ball, he made some changes, right? I like to see that. Like, I hate to see those guys go, but it looked to me like Key's saying, okay, what do we need to do to get better? And that's what we're going to do, whatever that requires.
Yeah, and I'll add this too. If you go back to 2018, I said this heading into last year. Maybe I'm wrong on it now in hindsight, and I'll admit that if I am. But I don't really ever think that the initial staff that Collins wanted was the guys he got, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think his dream OC was Dave Patino. I don't think that. I think that what the difference is that Key, whether it was Collins' choice, money people's choice, I don't know. You know, they handed him a check and said, this is how much you could spend. I don't know. But Key, I like what you said. Key to me has said, look, if you want to win, we're going to have to make some changes. And, you know, we heard him and Long, you know, were close. I'm sure that he and some other guys were really close. I mean, gosh, I've been off the beat for a month, and I've already forgotten what the Travaris Tillman. You know, Tillman did a great job. And to be able to make that change, I mean, it's just
that's big boy.
I don't know. It's big boy, and it shows – to me, it shows, man, and I'm not forecasting this, if Key doesn't work out, at least he went out on his own terms. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, at least he did it the way he wanted to, which I believe in that way.
Yeah.
Much more than the way that we had over the past 4 years.
And it's we're doing something different. I mean, we can't keep doing the same old and expect things to change. And like, I've had people say, you know, stars don't matter. They do. Because if you look at the teams that compete for their conference every year, they're the teams with the most 4 and 5 stars. Generally. Now, there's an odd one out in TCU. That
Wake Forest last year.
Wake Forest.
2 years ago, yeah.
They're not going to do it consistently.
Exactly.
You've got to have – this is what's different between the NFL and college. In the NFL, it's fair because if you're the best team in the country, you draft last. In college, if you're the best team in the country, you draft first. You know,
yeah,
so
that's a really good way of putting it. Yeah,
you've got to. That's the game you're playing in, and so.
And I like what you said. It's about talent acquisition. Yeah, that's a big word, but we're talking with tech folks here. It's about how much talent you can bring in. I think the key, and I've already seen a couple comments, you know, with this is. It's about development too, and so the expectation. A lot of people, and I love diving into these sometimes, and sometimes I have to get up and walk away from the computer or put my phone down. The Facebook groups, because a lot of people just complain and scream into the abyss about, well, they need to recruit better, they need to bring in more talent. Well, you don't understand. These kids are not signing up on a sinking ship. Like, they're not going to do that. So
no,
that's why I'm telling you. I mean, I've said this. I think this year's huge. If Key can just prove that he can win. And it's not like the players are bad that he has on the roster. I'm not saying that.
No.
But it opens the door for so many of these guys. Like Junior Day was this past weekend. Walt Claire Flynn Jr., that is a heck of an offensive lineman.
Yes.
From the Georgia Atlanta area. Grayson. I mean, look, you talk about Kenyatta Watson, who already has the Grayson connection. Is really good friends with his family. You talk about the ability to, if Key can show, hey, we can win here, and we can be really competitive, and let's just be honest, a Tier 2 conference, and probably. I mean, the ACC is a Tier 2 conference.
They're down.
Stack it all up. Man, if you can do that, you win 7-8 games this year. It opens the floodgates, and that's why I'm excited. Like,
Rec Talk here, and you just watched a clip from the live show. We do a live show every Sunday at 8 p.m. It's a ton of fun. And if you like the clip, consider giving us a like and subscribe. It helps the channel out. You can follow us on Twitter. There's a Discord link in the description. And if you want to support the channel financially, there's a PayPal link in the description. Thanks for watching.